stumbled across your words, it opened up this door that helped me, that supported me in a deeper understanding that everything that I was pursuing was fruitless to a great extent. And so I wanted to start with that first statement here. Fear exists only in the presence of consequences. I don't know if I heard you say that or if I saw you write it, but that was apparent to me that I was fearing a lot of things because I was ultimately afraid of the consequence. And often that consequence was I was terrified of what other people might think of me. Can you help me better understand where that comes from?
Where what comes from?
That fear of caring so profoundly and deeply about what other people might think.
Well, it's the world that a human being builds without knowing that he builds it, because it's the only world he knows. And he lives in the larger world, and then he creates smaller worlds out of the larger world. And the smaller worlds are in the form of relationship, in the form of image, and in the form of trying to please others and trying to impress others and gain favor and all of these things. And it's critical for me to say at this juncture that none of those things are wrong. None of those things are good. They are just a side effect and a consequence of being worldly. And any attempt actually to fix those things just leads you more and further into worldliness. And the further and further you get into worldliness, the further and further you drift out to sea. So it doesn't really matter what the detail is. A worldly life is all suffering. It's all misery. You can paint it however you like. You can put on a smile and say you're happy with your circumstances, or you have a lot to be thankful for, and have a gratitude journal and all this nonsense if you wish. But it's just trying to find a pocket of air within a state of drowning. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that, but whatever issue you choose is simply a detail form of suffering, because one has become worldly, and one has therefore has respect and for the world, and values the world, and therefore he values all the things that are said within it by its spiritualists and its self-helpists and its minions and its experts. And he imbibes that, and he reads books, and he listens to media, and he hears interviews, and he listens to talks, and he imbibes all of that information, and he goes off upon a journey of what are fundamentally lies. And they're not necessarily intentional lies. In fact, I don't believe that most people are out to hurt people. I don't believe that at all. I believe that most people are trying to help people. Most so-called experts are trying to do good for their fellow man. I firmly believe that. But the effect remains that it's still all lies. And when I say it's lies, I mean, no one should ever believe me on that. That's something that they can examine for themselves. Because if they believe me and say, well, you're saying it's a lie, so then give me the truth, then it's going to be everything being dependent upon what I say. And that has no relevance. Everything comes down to realizations for oneself.
Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.